All right, all right. Welcome everybody to today's show. Hey everybody, all my garden enthusiasts and passionate plant people. Welcome to what will be today's show. Basically, we're going to hang out here and I got a good thing too here. I got all sorts of things going off around here. But hey, thanks everybody for coming and joining and hanging out with me here today. As we're just kind of doing as I like to say, just kind of a casual little hangout, little live stream, nothing. No guests today, nothing official. The conversation is really just based on whatever you all want to talk about. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang out with you all here today. So definitely be jumping into our chat today and letting us know that you're here. Jump in the conversation, let us know. And here's the thing, you can today it's just kind of open house in a sense. You can ask me any sort of questions you want. I'm going to let you all basically drive the conversation today. Just let me know what you want to talk about, ask me some questions, that sort of thing, and then we're just going to kind of chill out and hang out and kind of see where things kind of go today. Nothing real big, nothing official as far as our shows are concerned, really. But I do want to kind of start off again to like we usually do, though, in a way, is just kind of encourage everybody, if you are jumping in with us today and new around here and all of that, the most everybody knows the routine. We want to hit that like button, we want to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, all of that. And definitely though, share with all your friends. Let them know about the Let's Get Growing show here on the weekends here. And again, usually your 3-day gardening weekend. I'm gonna gotta emphasize that too, with a couple of things. We'll talk about kind of what we got coming up and what's going on around here right now and all of that sort of stuff as we could get going along here in the conversation today. But definitely, as we get things swinging back up here too, we are your 3-day gardening talk weekend here on the Let's Get Growing show, the Urban Gardener channel, here every Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and also our the Green Room shows on Monday evenings with our good friend Natalie from the Fresh Princess as our co-host, joining us for some really great conversations. We are going to have another great show for you coming up this Monday too. I'll tell you all about that. Mondays hopefully will be kind of going pretty well here as we get moving forward as well too. We got great fun, awesome conversations on Monday evening, so you definitely want to come and check out the Green Room, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And also too, I'll have it up for a little bit anyways, so if there is any of you who do catch us on the replay, thank you for joining with us here today, and get into our comments down below and let us know you're here. Let us know what you got growing on, all of that sort of stuff. I want to hear from all of you, especially if you're just catching our show. I just, if this is a new show to you or you're just finding out about us or anything, I definitely want to hear from you. So drop into the comments. Let us know you're here. Drop in, say hello, and just love to hear from folks who are just kind of catching on and just learning about the show. It's always awesome to see those comments in our comment section. So definitely drop in. And again, if you're here with us, you got to join the conversation today because, as I said, we're just doing a kind of casual hangout live stream today where I'm just kind of letting you all kind of decide what we're going to talk about and all that sort of stuff. We'll hang out in the comment section here in just a few minutes here and all of that great stuff, so the regular usual, drop in questions, comments, all that sort of stuff. But hanging out with all of you. We don't have any guests today that I'm going to be chatting with or talking to, so I'm going to be hanging out with all of you. And just a little different. I just want to kind of do this sort of thing more so than kind of the community show idea. I'll talk a little bit more about what we'll get going here this next week and coming up to as well tomorrow and that sort of stuff as well. But definitely drop in, hang out with me here today. Let me know what you got growing on. I want to hear all about what you got growing on. If you got any questions, it's a great day where you can ask me any sort of questions if you want about me or anything. Hey, you want to know what my favorite color is? You want to know what anything, whatever, we'll leave it open house. You can ask me some questions here, and we'll see if I answer them. No, I love it. I love it. No, come bring some questions. I'd love to hear anything you want to ask. Drop them in. Today is a great day to do something like asking just any sort of general questions if you want, for sure. But any sort of gardening and that sort of stuff as well too. So also, yes, follow links down below. Want to make sure you do that as well today, because really want to take and use time like this as well too on these sort of shows, is be able to really thank all of our contributors and the folks who spend their time making segments and doing things to be a part of what we do here on the Let's Get Growing show and all of that too. So we've got links that are all down below in the description that you can go and check out all of our different contributors. Again, if you're new here, you can go check out some new channels and all of that. It's one of the things we love to do around here as a community show, is to promote the community, promote those other folks out there and everything too. So if you are here with a channel as well, you can also drop into the chat right now as well. Let us know you got a channel or anything as well, and we'd love to share your channel link. In fact, we've got our good friend Jay, the J-Bot, facilitating in the show here today. Join us from Huron County, Midwestern Ontario, Canada, in the lee of Lake Huron. And Jay is our J-Bot, as we call her, and she's in the background doing all sorts of really cool stuff, and making sure we've got great links and information as we were talking about different topics and different things throughout different shows. And she's always there just kind of helping facilitate our conversation, and just a great job there. But also for all of you, like I was saying, if you want to get a channel link or anything like that at any time, just let us know about your channel and all of that, and Jay will put out a link into the conversation for everybody to go check you out. So let's go and support the rest of the community as well too, as much as we can, and get over and check out what they're doing, what they've got growing on, especially our contributors and audience members and those folks who are just really, really awesome here in our community. So again, thank you, Jay, for everything you're doing. Jay's not feeling too well right now, so we're all feeling for Jay and hoping that she gets better too as well, but still here, still facilitating the chat. So thank you so much for doing that as well. Let's see here. I see we got Rob's Attic, Rob's Allotment Gardening in the chat, joining in with us. I saw he was chatting away with Jay just before the show was getting going. So thanks for coming and hanging out with me today here. I know it's evening time, and joining our conversation here. So thanks, Rob, for being here today, as well as I see we got Dusty Flats just steamed another batch of soil, at least potting up alleviates so much watering in. It's the room that's an issue. Okay, yeah, right on. Doing some work while you're hanging out here on watching the show, so that's awesome. Love to hear about that. Got our other good friend and moderator Adam Burley in the chat with us here, joining us from right up the road in Central Point here, right up the road from me here in Southern Oregon, listening in while having lunch. Well, awesome. Another great way to partake in the show, just have some lunch and just pop us on there while you're hanging out wherever you're having lunch, whether it's at home or out somewhere else. It's what I do a lot of the times. I'm just usually maybe perusing other live streams or videos and doing different things out there and watching things as well myself too. Let's see. Dusty Flat says, hey everyone, the temps are wacky as Canada gets more snow, means more uppotting here as the seedlings don't wait for Mother Nature. That's right, they don't wait. You got to keep on getting things going and growing despite the things that we got to deal with outdoors, right? And it's been some pretty wacky weather for sure. Real wacky weather. Uh, Lots going on as far as that goes. Let's see here. I want to this way here. Kind of working my way through here. Mm-hmm. Let's see, Rob's a lot in the garden. He says to Adam, he's having his lunch. He says, hope you enjoy your lunch. I'm waiting for my Indian to be delivered. Nice. Oh, I bet you got some good stuff coming for sure. Yeah. Right on. Excellent. I did want to mention real quick just about our shows this last week. If you didn't get a chance to check out some of our shows this last week, we did have Gardner Scott with us as well to answer all your gardening questions. We had him on a Saturday show, which was really kind of different on the third weekend. We usually have him on the Sunday show on the second weekend of the month, but we moved him up a week for a scheduling change and had him on our Saturday show. So that was still fun. We also got to meet the desert rat gardener. Jamie joined us as well for Are You Following Me last Saturday on the show. It was, again, really fun, really awesome conversation with these two on the show with us. And then also on the Sunday edition of the show, we had our monthly gardening book club with our good friend Mark Roche Colbert, joined with us live for In the Garden, as well as our monthly gardening book club, where we had on the show with us Emily Murphy. Emily Murphy joined with us on the show. We had a great conversation talking all about her book, Grow Now. Really great book, really awesome. Found this book to just be it's a great, I think it's a great starter book for any starter gardener for sure, but great for any gardener who's, kind of, looking to learn and understand just a little bit more. Look at that, change the camera view. Here we go. But to understand just a little bit more about, the, things and that are going on, environmental, but creating biodiversity with our gardens, pollinator gardens, all sorts of, we just covered so many things, and there's so many awesome things that are going in there. And I just kind of, when I was reading that book, it really took me back to like when I was first gardening. That's why I was thinking it would be a great like launching kind of book for someone who's just getting started, because there were just so many things I was learning about as I was learning about gardening, and it made me become more aware of a lot of things, and I shared with everybody. In fact, I was also thinking about it too as I was sharing or putting up the thumbnail for today's show, as I used this thumbnail here, which always reminds me of my very first episode I ever did as the Urban Gardener channel. And that video is still up there. I played it for everybody last year on the show when we did one of these little kind of breaks where we were just kind of hanging out with everybody. And it was really kind of fun to kind of look back at that. But it was the very first video. And when you first get into making videos, I'm like, all of them. I go back in that first year and I look back at any of them. And for me, it's kind of like, oh, wow. Oh my gosh. You could definitely tell I was really new to making videos, where the whole idea of even talking to a camera or all of that sort of stuff. So it's really kind of interesting to watch those videos and stuff. But you can see it in that very first video though, too. Some of those things that I was kind of learning about when it came to the food system and all of that sort of stuff, why it became more and more important to me to learn about growing my own food in these spaces, in these urban urban spaces that I have, and to kind of tackle those things and learn about them as, experimenting and having, as part of the fun of gardening as you're learning in that process. So, but there's a lot of other things that you start to learn about, become a lot more environmentally conscious. You start learning a lot more about pollinators and all these other, native plants, and, the importance of a lot of these other things that, beyond just growing the food, which was my first attention, my entry point into gardening. And so it was really kind of, it's really kind of interesting to look back at that process of learning those things as I was learning a lot more about, what the importance of my gardening space and how important it was and what it was given back to me, as we talk a lot about in all sorts of different aspects on the show, for sure. But I found that Emily's book Grow Now to just be really, really exceptional when it came to covering a lot of this sort of stuff that I think become discovery stuff for a lot of folks who do find just growing food or wanting to start a food garden as their entry point into gardening, because then there's just so much more that we learn about our spaces and our gardening spaces, plus a ton of really great just practical garden knowledge as well too in that book. Just a great conversation. If you didn't get a chance to go back, check out that show for sure. And then of course, Monday evening on the Green Room, we had with us our very own Shawnee Grows. I was talking about going down in the description below where we got all of our contributors. You'll find a link to Shawnee Grows down there as well too. She does our segment Grow What You Eat on the Green Room for us on Monday evenings, but she joined us as a guest this last Monday along with Julia D'Amicos from The Garden Girl, and just a really fun, great conversation with all of those great gardeners there on the Green Room. So if you didn't get a chance, go back and check out that show too. And again, too, really awesome and huge thanks to our co-host Natalie from The Fresh Princess as well too, for helping co-host the Green Room. Just makes it so much more fun, and just a really great conversations we're having on the Monday evening Green Room. And we'll have one coming up here for you. I'll tell you just a little bit more about here coming up here a little bit later on as well too, for this upcoming Monday. Let's jump back into the chat here and see where did I leave off here. I think right about here. I think we had Meg's Edible Landscapes joining in with us here. Awesome to have you here, Meg. Thank you so much for being here, hanging out today. Really just kind of an unofficial show here. We're not really having a Let's Get Growing show. We're just hanging out. So I just got the Urban Gardener up here. We're just kind of hanging out, doing something a little different while we kind of get a little gap in the schedule. We got our friend David, Bowtie Life. I caught a little bit afterwards. But I caught a little bit of his little pop-up live and seeing what he's got set up for this next coming weekend, which is going to be just really fun and exciting. I'll mention a little bit later here as well as we talk about what we got coming up. But David joining us from the Emerald Coast of Florida, where storms rolling through, 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius, indoor setup activated, busy garden day continues. Yeah, that was what I caught. It was a really fun little live stream you put on earlier for your little pop-up. I caught a few minutes of that just a little bit earlier, enough to catch your you had a kind of a speed up video of putting together the tent inside the living room and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. You guys are having some real fun over there doing that sort of stuff. So I kind of can't wait to see what you got coming up here in this next week. All right. Let's see here. Dusty says, I just steamed another batch. Oh, we did. Okay, I think we saw that one already. We got EE2201 in the conversation. How are you doing? Great to see you here. Thanks for hanging out with us. We got Michael O'Connor here. Good afternoon from North Alabama. Took a garden break, planted a nice ever red banana tree in zone 8A. Red banana tree. Now that sounds awesome. Awesome. I know I want to grow some bananas sometime myself. I would love to do that. Actually be able to grow bananas. I don't know if I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we could do it here. I'd have to have some sort of enclosure probably. Or well, maybe I'm not sure. I'd have to find out if anybody's done it around here. Let's see here. Yeah, like I said, we're just kind of hanging out today. I'm just gonna let you guys kind of drive the conversation today. I'm just gonna kind of peruse through our chat here with everybody. So I'm basically in the chat with all of you here today. So you guys just jump in, ask some questions, give me some thoughts about gardening, what you've got growing on, any sort of things like that. Questions, comments, everything's open. Like I said, you got any direct questions you got for me, personally, you want to find out a little bit more about me or anything like that, you can take opportunity of a hangout like this to be able to do that sort of stuff. So definitely drop into the chat here and let's see where everything goes today. I didn't have anything really planned or anything at all, too, other than just maybe talking about kind of what we've got going on and everything too. So let's see here. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Habitual hobbies in the chat there with us, just hanging out today. Yep, that's right. We're just hanging out, just kind of doing a little something different. Kind of got a lull, if you will, in the calendar that was kind of coming up on me pretty fast as I've had kind of some things going on, in my own personal life. I've got this other, job going on. I've got a lot of other things that are just taking up a lot of my time that so I'm not getting to a lot of certain other things that I need to or want to as far as keeping this show going. One of the things that I think is really great that I love about the show is the fact that we can bring so much variety of conversation, bringing in so many different voices throughout the whole gardening community, to bring people together here throughout this 3-day gardening weekend, and that's why we like to have the different guests and the different people and the different subjects and things. There's just a ton of variety, just as much variety as you'll find out in a garden, right? I want to have as much variety within this show, and to be able to do that sort of stuff takes it takes some work, and it's probably the largest bit of work I've got to do. Even the production side of putting all this sort of stuff together is just it's learning some things, it's getting some things down, as far as some other stuff, and then maybe a little bit of pre-work that you got to do. Spend some time to put together certain segments or breaks or things like that, that we do, just kind of put together a whole package to make it, like a real, professional show, and I hope that kind of comes out. You know what I mean? I hope that comes out and comes through when people see the show, in the sense, when we got one going on and all of that too, because that was the intention, that was the idea, that was when I thought of the whole thing and wanting to transform what I was doing with my live streams, which was just this was it, which is what a lot of folks do with their live streams and all of that too. But I was also traveling and going out around all sorts of places and trying to visit people and do interviews, because that's really kind of what I really wanted to do. Was when I first thought about wanting to do a channel That's why I named it the Urban Gardener. The Urban Gardener more is a name of like a magazine in a way, the Urban Gardener magazine in a sense, this idea that, I would go out and show different things, projects, organizations, people who are, growing in the growing community and things. And, kind of follow along with some things I was seeing my friend John Kohler doing, well before I even thought of, and I was just like, I want to do something like that. I'm going to go visit people and come up with some great video ideas and stuff. And then COVID happened and kind of shut a lot of that sort of stuff down for a while. And so, then I thought, well, I want to keep doing interviews. And that's where I thought maybe I'll transform my live streams with this kind of newer technologies that are coming out, and the thing about that was kind of beneficial about COVID, it may have shut down that kind of idea to a certain extent and transform what I was doing to this, but it also made the whole world available to us versus me just kind of traveling up and down the West Coast, or I was working my way towards doing some further away projects and stuff like that. But those things, kind of had to change. But the part of that change is that folks were getting used to setting themselves up to do like Zooms with either their families or business or different things that people were connecting with each other doing, and so people were getting used to getting a setup to do this type of live streaming and everything. So that really opened things up even more as far as the availability of different types of guests and people that we could do. So I just kind of challenged myself, could I get some really cool guests, some featured guests, so that we could promote smaller channels and run a show that kind of worked like that, and build a show around it, make it kind of fun, segments and all the sort of stuff that we do and everything, the trivia and all of that was just kind of a big part of that whole kind of like, could I take what they what they've given available to me through this technology and build something kind of independently, kind of like a professional kind of gardening talk show, and I think for the most part we've done a pretty good job. Again, I know everybody's getting in the comments here. I got to get back to the comments. I'm going on a tangent, but that's what today's show's about. We're just hanging out. Habitual hobbies, hanging out. Southern Missouri container gardener. I love the container gardening too. Let's see here. David's in here. When you promote Sunday, the third event, please mention the other two lives, Bowtie Life, that will happen before and after that. Okay, yeah, 10 a.m. Central, 2 p.m. Central after your show. Yes, absolutely. Yes, let's, we'll talk about that for sure. Because they're going to do some live streaming, pretty much setting up some pretty cool shows over at Bowtie Life to cover all sorts of stuff going on and growing on over at the Baker Creek Spring. What is it? The Planting Festival. It's not the flower one. I believe it's the planting one. And David's doing some really cool live streaming stuff, getting the whole thing set up. That's what I was mentioning, seeing his pop-up live earlier today, where he kind of shows a little bit about what his setup's going to look like and all of that. So it's really great. Really looking forward to seeing what you got going on. But yeah, he'll be live streaming before our show and after our show as well too. Doing some stuff for us on our show as well too. So he's got some live streaming coming up this next Sunday too. So yeah, definitely. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show as well too. But everyone else who's here and you haven't heard any of the word at all yet about what we got coming up next Sunday, definitely make a note next Sunday to come and join not only us, but to go over to, and I got links down below. Like I said, we got contributor links right down below for all of our contributors. You can go down and find a link, and then I'm sure Jay could drop in a link as well too for everybody to get to their live streams over there at Bowtie Life as well before our show. So you can have a little pre-show and then join us here on our show. And then after the show, you can go back and hang out some more fun stuff that they've got planned and set up for that Baker Creek Festival. Man, that's going to be so much fun. I'm so jealous. get to go and do that. But I'm really happy that you're going to come spend some time with us and share some of that with us here as well too. So at least I get that for sure. So thanks, David, for all that you're doing on that. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about that as well too, a little bit later on the show. Go ahead and mark that as a reminder. There we go. And I see we got John here in the conversation. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm still going through our conversation here, but keep jumping in there. Let me know you're here, especially if you've joined in here in just the last few minutes at all. We're just kind of hanging out together, just kind of going through our conversation here in the chat. So we're just kind of hanging in the chat with all of you. If you got any questions for me or anything like that, I'd love to see some questions that you might have. This is where you get a chance to kind of interview me in a sense. And I'm just going to kind of chat with y'all and see where the conversation goes. Let's see here. Right on. G Mama Grows. Awesome to have you here with us today. Thanks for being here. Awesome to see you. Guest on our Monday evening show a little while back ago too. It's great to have you here with us on the conversation here. Michael says, hey Andy, Edible Landscapes, I'm going to catch your video later today once I get planting done. Right on. See, that's what I like to see. Everybody supporting each other, watching each other's content and doing all of that. Really awesome. We see Paul from Guten Gardening in the conversation too. Another great contributor here to the Let's Get Growing show. So definitely drop into our description below. Go check out Paul's Guten Gardening. We got a link down there for you to go check out what he's got growing on over there. I'm telling you, we got all awesome gardeners, just some really amazing, awesome people around here in this community. All of you folks who come and hang out with us in the chat and make this conversation so awesome every single week. I mean, we talk about it all the time about just how fun and lively the chat is and how cool it is to see the community that you guys are kind of building together as well through the conversations and all of that as well. So, I mean, to me, just kind of going back on what I was saying about setting up and thinking about putting the show together and what that original idea was as I was thinking about it, it was really ultimately a challenge. Could I do the work it was going to take behind the scenes to be able to book and bring the right kind of conversations that I was visualizing to, kind of help promote the community and everything? Was I going to be able to do that? That was kind of my challenge. And a couple of lulls in the schedule as we're talking about today, right? A couple of those kind of happen because of, circumstances, like as I was mentioning too earlier. It's just so busy with some things that I haven't had a chance to really, really work as much as I've been wanting to on booking. And so we got kind of some shows here in this next week, this week and next week that just kind of came up on me fast when I'm trying to work and make sure I'm booking out each week so that we have some great conversations. And so in some ways I almost feel like I've got this, a real heavy obligation to make sure I'm doing this and bringing forward just the best Let's Get Growing show, because we built it into a show. It has its own thing in a way, right? And I want to make the best show that I possibly can each and every week. So when these sort of things start to happen, I start to get worried. I'm like, oh no. And then I kind of have to ease up on myself a little bit and just kind of take it easy and just kind of decide to do stuff like this and just come hang out anyways with all of you. Which is just fun to do anyways. This is what I was doing beforehand. I did this for several years beforehand, before the whole Let's Get Growing show. Is just kind of hanging out with everybody in the chat and just having fun with wherever the conversation, kind of goes, But yeah, let's see. We got Muddy Puddle Farm, Joe joining us from Cornwall. Sorry I got delayed bringing in the seedling trays. No need to worry today about it all. We're all just kind of hanging. In fact, I'm just kind of working my way through our conversation today here. And I see Michael Connor saying, Mike here in North Alabama Mountains, 8A. Awesome. It's great to have you here, Mike. Thanks for being in the conversation. I love seeing, all these just really familiar names that I get to see week after week, coming back and joining with us on the show and everything too. It's just really awesome. All right. Yeah. See, that's what's so cool about it here. Like, so much of the conversation is you guys saying hello to each other and all that stuff too. I just love that. Just you guys getting to, you know what I mean? Just get to really hang out and get to spend time, not just in our conversation that we get to have here with the show, but to get to hang out and have a conversation and see familiar people in the chat from week to week. So that's just really awesome. Let's see here. Oh, and of course, we got our good friend Rick lurking in the background. I love it. Awesome. I do a lot of that myself too, though. I do that a lot of myself. Most of the time I'm busy working and doing things, but I can kind of listen in to a lot of other people's live streams and all that stuff. So that's how I get to like take in a lot of other things, like our good friends Destin and Phil and Des and all them over at the Garden Party podcast and other live streamers, Joe from Muddy Puddles Farm and other folks. I'll be kind of lurking in the backgrounds from time to time, just listening in because I'm working and, so that's the best. That's which, you see a lot of folks do, but it's still, you take it in however you can, right? Get some work in, put the live streams in the background, maybe have some little ear pods in or something, right? And just kind of lurk in the background a little and have fun enjoying the conversation going on. I love that. You can't type much. Sore arm. Yeah. Keep off the typing, man. Let your arms heal up for sure. But great to always have you here with us, hanging out with us, Rick. Join us all the way from down under in Australia. Rick gets up with us nice and early in the mornings and hangs out with us. So I always love seeing Rick's name popping up in the conversation as well too, because I love that kind of dedication to being a kind of community member of a show, all the way from Australia, hanging out with us like that. Just really always great to have you here. So thanks for taking the time. Even if you can't type, you got to lurk in the background. It's absolutely fine. Habitual Hobby says, Bowtie, you're going to make me jealous. I'm going to have to take off work if I want to go on Sunday. I know, huh? I'm jealous too. At least you're close enough where you could get over there and do that though too. So that's really kind of awesome. So yeah, that would be awesome if you do get over there. You guys will have to get in on the live stream together or something. And that would be really fun. In-person meetings are always so fun. You get to hang out with folks that you get to meet online and everything in person. Got to do a lot of that too, though. That's one thing about, when I was first doing the channel, as I was mentioning before, I was getting to travel and go meet and go see all these really cool gardeners and their garden projects, these different garden organizations. I mean, you can go back and find all the really cool videos and stuff. What I really need, in fact, on the main page, there's feature video playlists that you can go and check out some of the old visits that I've done, like with LA Compost, and going and checking out what they did there with some of their food scrap events that they were doing in Los Angeles. That was really fun. All sorts of them. of course, one of my most popular videos, the urban homestead, which I'm still like, still killing myself over. I've got footage for a whole nother urban homestead video that I've just, again, to talk about not having time or being busy doing other things, and things get kind of behind you so far that it's hard to get back to something, especially a project like that that's going to take me, probably a couple of days, maybe even a week or so of work to kind of put together the type of video that that's supposed to be, with the footage and everything that I shot for it. So in order to do something like that, that's a whole project for me now. And I've got the footage to put that project together, and I really want to get to work on it at some point in time and get it done before it gets too far out. And it is far out, believe me, it's a couple of years out already. But the footage is good though. And it's a great, it's, I think, it's still, and I think it'll still make a great video as a follow up to the one that I've done on my regular video. See, what, you never know what comes up here. I wasn't planning or thinking about that, but yeah, lots of cool stuff that you can go back and check out if you want to check out some of those feature videos. Bowtie Life, so they're driving out there. Oh, because she was asking, are you flying or driving? It's like, we're driving. And yeah, that's a long trip. It would be, I know. And the thing is that if I did it too, I got a bunch of stuff I'd want to set up, just like Bowtie and everything. If doing an event like that and live streaming, I'm like, I'd want to drive too. But even for, that's such a long trip. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure what I would do. But I'm still thinking, I don't know how possible it would really be to be able to make the fall one or not, but I'm still thinking about it. And I've talked to Jer about doing some things and stuff. In fact, hopefully him and oh, I'm having a hard time remembering his name, but anyways, we'll have Jer, the founder of Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company, hopefully on the show to down the road here as we get into summertime. Ryan does a lot of their social media stuff that you see. Yeah, he's been on the show before. We had him on the show the year before last, or was it last year? I'm not sure. Again, too, that's the thing. Look at that. I mean, all from that one idea to here we are a few years later. We've done a couple hundreds of interviews, talked to so many people. It's just really kind of amazing. But yeah, I've been wanting to get them together though. We've had Jer and Ryan on the show at different times and everything, but I'm going to try to get them on together because I think that'd be a fun conversation getting them together. Oh, I see John's in here saying, anybody else in this drought, Eastern North Carolina is struggling. Man, I know we're looking for, and like, there's been some rain and we've been getting pretty wet the last couple of weeks around here, which has been great. And I'm trying to be like, give us as much as possible, because that's kind of our forecast though, too, is that it's going to be drying up and we could be seeing some more drought conditions in a lot of places. Look how warm it's been so early in so many places. That heat dome situation that the Southwest had to deal with. I mean, we're talking about record-breaking March temperatures in the triple digits in places. It's just, you start thinking about what things are going to be looking like as we move forward in the next few years. I'm not sure, but hopefully we're able to find some sort of ways to work through it and all of that. But yeah, drought conditions are not good. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, Michael talking about, like like bananas. They grow like weeds there. So like canna and elephant ears too. I love those. Yeah, I probably that's what I'm thinking is that I know I could probably grow and they would grow. I just don't know if I could grow and get fruit. That's my biggest question, whether or not I could possibly do that here. But I would love to grow some banana. That would just be awesome. Yeah, it's normally a wet time, but everything is crunchy. Can we all get some average weather? I know. It's been so up and down and crazy. Like it's usually a crazy time anyways from year to year during, this kind of transition from winter to spring and and then now next it's just kind of, things can be up and down to a certain bit, but it's been at some extremes this year for sure that we've been seeing. And so it's like, come on, just give us something a little more level. Give us a little more level playing field. I mean, I've just been out, just looking at some of the destruction from a couple of really late freezes. I mean, we worry about frost at this time of year more so than just a real deep type of freeze that snuck up on us. And there's just a lot of things that got, my grape back there is just got devastated. And it was just coming out of dormancy and was just starting to enjoy the warm weather and all the, the kind of little intermittent rain and the sunshine and all of that, was just getting down with everything. And then just got devastated by that freeze. So it's drought, freeze, all that sort of stuff, all these just extremes that we're all having to deal with. Mhm. Says, I feel like the Waltons, but in reverse. It's hello and not good night. Right. Yeah. I never watched much of that show. It was probably my mother's favorite show, if I remember correctly, one of hers, and I do remember that scene so well though too, where it was always good night. Let's see here, Bowtie. Urban Gardener and chat question. Anyone know anything about uppotting peace lilies? I have two that seem to be failing after uppotting to a well-drained mix. Oh no. Well, hopefully it's just is it, just a transplant shock, that sort of thing. Oh, I didn't mean to take that or something. I don't have much. I had like a peace lily maybe, I don't know, 10 years maybe ago or so that I had, that I think, yeah, ended up staying with someone else as I was moving. No, so that would have been one. No, it would have been longer. So that was when I moved here. That one stayed with a friend of mine as I left several plants behind when I moved down here. And one of them, I believe, was the peace lily. So that was the last time I had a peace lily, and I only really had it in one pot and never really did anything as far as I just had one up and just kept up potting it and that sort of thing, and it didn't really have any problems with it for the years. It did get pretty good size and everything, but I that's nothing I can remember as far as it giving me any issues or problems when it came to that sort of thing. So hopefully it's just some sort of transplant shock or something. I don't know. So hopefully if anybody else has got any real good experience with peace lily and had maybe some issues with transplanting. I mean, like I said, it's so long ago, I could have had problems. You know what I mean? And that I'm not remembering or thinking about, with that one in particular, you know. So just I'm not remembering at all. But they are really nice plants, especially if you can get them to flower and everything really nicely. This just, and you get them to a good size as well. They're really cool. Let's see here, Dusty Flats. Those in drought in the south may get a break as 50-year El Nino will be starting, and that sends moisture south. Yeah, let's hope it brings moisture. But again, too, what happens for the other regions and these sort of things that cause these other cycles and things that are these other extremes, and other, it's crazy for all of us out there, no matter where we live. Too, we're all facing some sort of climate change issue. Here we go. Rob's like, love just hanging out and chat with a few beers at my side. All right, all right. Yeah, exactly. Just hang out and chill with us right here, right here. All right, here's Jay in the chat as well too, with a great idea here that we can pop up and talk about here a little bit. Is one of the things I always love hearing is hearing from folks in the chat, about all sorts of different stuff about the show. Another thing is that and I let's see if I can find it here. Actually, there's so many of these banners. I know it's got to be in here somewhere. I went right by it. That's what it was. Okay, there it is. I just want to put this up too as well. We got our email, theurbangardener@mail.com. This is our email way to connect with the show. And I love hearing from all of you folks too, whether it's in the comments, below after a show, you get a chance to catch up. Maybe you joined in halfway, but you go watch the first one. Anytime you go watch a replay or anything, definitely make sure you jump into the comments and let us know you're there and all that sort of stuff, because I love hearing from you guys. But also too, if you got suggestions or thoughts about the show, you want to see a certain guest, or of a really cool small channel out there that's out there doing some stuff that you like to watch or support, and that sort of stuff. I love hearing suggestions from you guys out there, especially because you're watching the show. So we'd love to be able to put on folks that you enjoy and you're watching, and that sort of thing, whether they're feature type guests or they're smaller channels for like Are You Following Me, or other guests that you'd like to see maybe on our Green Room show, all that sort of stuff. Let me know what you're thinking. Maybe you got some cool suggestions for segments or things that would be kind of an interesting thing we could do for the show. I love hearing just what you think about the show, what you think are ideas. That's that email basically is our suggestion box, right? So you can just kind of pop some suggestions right into that suggestion box. If you will. I hope that worked out right. But yeah, definitely do that. And again too, or drop in and let me know about some things that you've got growing on as well too, if you got something as well. So love to hear from all of you there too as well. So thanks, Jay, for suggesting that, because that's a great idea. Let's see. Going through here. G Mama Gross says, I'm digging all your great house plants, taking notes. Yeah, well, I mean, they are great and they're cool and all of that. I just, my big thing is that what really works for me in this scenario is that I got a lot of them, and it's really kind of like a jungle and all of that, but they are pretty simple, basic plants. And really, a lot of the stuff is amassed even more because I've kind of taken cuttings from all of our different things, like the one right here, this pothos right here. This one I've had for 26, almost 30 years. Yeah, I've had that for about almost 30 years. And it's also in a bunch of other plants that I've taken cuttings, and they grow in other parts of the house as well too. This other pothos right here, that one's got some great cuttings. In fact, there's one that's right down here and all that I got to pot up and all of that. So they multiply as well too. But, I do try to keep them as simple as possible, talk about the peace lily and having problems and all of that. is that yeah, I like plants that are going to be kind of resilient to my neglect at times, because I do live a busy life, and sometimes these things have a little bit of trouble. In fact, I nursing back one of my plants where if it was within reach, I'd grab it. But nursing back one of my plants that kind of got hidden in the background there that I wasn't noticing, but it was like totally drying out and just dehydrating completely and dying in front of me. So I've kind of got it on a rescue mission right now, but it'll be all right, and it's coming back a little bit already, really nicely. So hopefully, again, too, plants that can be somewhat resilient too as well. But I'm always kind of peeping some other really cool ones that are just a little harder care that I really would like to do and stuff. But I just worry about kind of maybe getting into that type of investment on some of these really cool plants, because some of them can be pretty spendy. Some of these really cool plants I'd love to get, and end up just totally just messing it up. I could see myself doing that for sure. That's why I've never done like really indoor house care plant type videos or anything like that. I'm going to get some guests. In fact, I got a really big one I'm working on. Should be set up here as we get moving down the next couple of months, and maybe do some really cool house plant stuff as well again too. But yeah, I've just, I'm really simple, practical with my house plants that yeah, very resilient, easygoing. Like this one here could really, it's, yeah, doing all right, but definitely could use some water, and already starting to get some yellow tinge on some of the leaves here. So I got some sort of, it's getting a deficiency right now that I got to start taking care of, get it feeding it and doing some things. But yeah, that's just, but lots of plants, they do well, and I take care of them pretty well. I'm not saying I'm completely bad or completely neglectful, but they do got to be somewhat resilient for certain times and certain things every now and then. Let's see here. We've got Jen. How you doing? Great to have you here with us today. Says hi all. It's been heating up here in North Carolina, Piedmont. I've been trying to break down my gardening tasks to shorter increments to avoid getting overheated and tiring too quickly. That's a great idea. That's a great suggestion for anybody else who's going to be facing this, especially as we move towards summertime. And a lot of us will be dealing with some really warm temperatures and all of that. So that when we start working on gardening tasks, get out, do little bits at a time, little bits at a time. Make sure you're getting a break. Make sure you're getting shade, using all of your sorts of sunscreen, all that sort of stuff as well too. But yeah, you definitely want to have plenty of water, making sure you're hydrated so that you can take care of all of those awesome gardening things that you need to do, whether it's just like watering your plants and doing all that sort of stuff too. But yeah, thanks for the awesome suggestion. It's already hopefully summer doesn't hit like a switch like it did last year on us and the year before, but it probably could. So I don't know, but I'm trying to savor some of our kind of moderate weather that we've got right now. It's been raining a little bit off and on here, but we just had a nice day yesterday. So I don't know, see how things are going here too. So, but feel for all of you again too, are still dealing with some extremes. Hopefully some of those of you who are more northern climates are getting to get some gardening work done as well too. All right. Rob says it's been very hot here today, 20 degrees Celsius plus, but nights are near on freezing. Ugh. Yeah, that's another thing too. It's really cold overnights. We can get some pretty warm days. We had some of those really like a few weeks ago too, where it was getting like 80 degrees, really just, and I'm not sure again too what that is Celsius. Yeah, but yeah, it was getting really warm, but the overnights just were really, really cold as well too. It would dip right back down. Let's see here. EE2201. I found your channel a few months ago and you got me addicted to gardening again. Now my 150 seedlings are all up potted and 30 days old. Great show. Thank you so much. Awesome to have you here. I love seeing again everybody's names and getting familiar with everybody's names. So it's been great seeing your name popping up here in our conversation a lot lately. So thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. And yeah, thanks for the awesome compliment as well too. Great to see that you got back into it, you know, and again to be an inspiration to anybody getting back into and getting that gardening addiction, you know, kicked back in for someone again too. I just love hearing about that. That's just really amazing. So again, too, just thank you so much for letting us know here and being a part of our community here. It's just really awesome. And I hope that these 150 seedlings go really awesome for you and you just have an amazing gardening year this year. It's just going to, and yeah, and just keep us updated with how things are growing along with everything as well too, because I'd love to hear about how all that's going. See here, Jen is saying that we're 84 degrees. 84 degrees. Yeah, that's really warm right now. Definitely heating up real quick, especially for this time of year. 84 degrees can feel like 100 degrees in a way too, in some parts for sure. And again, awesome. You put the 29 degrees Celsius there too. So excellent. Excellent. Let's see here. Snow in Alberta and Saskatchewan sends cold air to upper Midwest and have to be on the watch for freezing below temps later next week. Yeah, see, and that's kind of what I was saying is that, you know, we get certain things that affect certain people in certain areas here, but then there's these counter effects, if you will, that go on and it's just the whole, you know, you've ever seen the earth from above and just how it all just moves and does all that sort of stuff. And it's just, you know, sometimes we're on the back end of some sort of thing that was affecting someone else, you know, back when they were having those triple digit high temperatures down in the Southwest here. I was right up on the northern end of that heat dome as we were getting into those 80s, you know, early up or mid 80 degree temperatures. You know, in that kind of range, you know, I'd say 80 to 84. I don't know if we really hit 85, but you know, it was right. But again, too, for that time of year or this time of year, it seems like it's a lot hotter. So I just can't imagine for the folks who were down more further south dealing with the triple digits, how much hotter that really felt as well, too. But, you know, I just, you know, being on the outer edge of that and the effects from how the heat going on over there was really affecting what we were getting here. And yeah, it's just kind of, yeah, a bit much to think about too. Again, too, I just kind of hope that we're going to be okay for the summertime. Let's see here. Paul from Guten Gardening says COVID definitely helped to create our channel because it gave us something we usually don't have, which is time. And yeah, that was a big thing about COVID, you know, was that, and a lot of folks got into gardening at that time. It was a difficult time for me in my personal life, though, too. So, you know, I was developing and working on this idea, but I was kind of shutting down with a lot of stuff and doing some things and going through some things, if you will. You know, and I've shared before about, but you know, COVID was a time I wished I'd had, you know, I'll just put it this way, my stuff together at that particular moment in time because of how many people were developing channels and how many people were watching and getting into gardening and starting to grow their own food, starting to, you know, try to create countermeasures to what was going on with the supply chains and, you know, food costs. All these sort of things that were happening at that time was really driving a lot of people to the gardening space at a time where I just didn't have the time or mental space to be able to be doing the things that I needed to for the channel to grow along with that moment in time. It was just it just didn't work out for me for all of that, but it was really awesome to kind of see really, besides the devastating things going on globally in a way though too, just the attention that was given to gardening and all of that too, and the folks that came out in the gardening community through COVID times. We hear these conversations all the time on the show. We have guests all the time on the show that talk to us about how they started out of COVID, and because again they had time, they were thinking about growing and gardening and doing all that sort of stuff, and with that and with that was sharing. You would find people were finding ways to share with their family and friends. In some ways that was starting Instagram profiles, or maybe even making YouTube channels where you can make little videos and share with your friends and stuff, kind of things going on, and creating these things that then kind of took off for them. We've seen some interviews with folks who've, started something, and it was just started just in a whim out of COVID to share with their friends and family, and turned into, them having basically a brand and things that they were able to build from, and all of that too. So I was really, really happy to see the community just really gain some strength and really grow through that really, hard time, you know. But again, too, the residual of that, though, too, on my part, for me, what I was going through, I may not have been able to do some of the things that I wanted to do, channel wise and all that sort of stuff. But it did help set up and start the idea for all of this, and to set up this show and everything, though it's kind of gone in a bit of a different direction than what I was intending when I did the channel and all that sort of stuff. Maybe there'll be a point in time with this show that it's on its feet enough to where I could really dedicate more time and do some things towards the things that I was more attending on that other. So I still got ideas and things like that as I move forward down the road that I'm looking to do, is that sort of thing. But I was really kind of glad for the COVID time to help me come up with this idea so that we could do this show and have this sort of space that we have today. So yeah, so something did grow and come out of all of that for us here, just not the way I was originally intending it. Let's see here. I'm just working. I'm probably so far behind too, you guys. I'm sorry if I am. I'm just working my way through the conversation here. Let's see. I see Frank's in the conversation. Great to have you here. Always great to see you and your free coffee. Speaking of that too, thanks for reminding me too. I need to get my coffee here. And as Jay says, questions are welcome. Again, you probably have questions down here. Hopefully I'll get to some of those too. I'm sorry. So I'm working through this, but definitely drop in any sort of questions you have. Like I said, this is a great time to ask me any sort of questions you want. As time is just kind of going by, I was like, oh, maybe again, I always get so unsure that when we get on and start some things, especially if we're doing something that's so, not set up under the regular show's formula, that we do or something, So I get kind of nervous. I'm like, oh, we're going to be able to figure out what to talk about or what to do and everything. And it's like, no, there's plenty to just get me in front of a microphone. I mean, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Outlier Gardner, thank you so much for jumping in and hanging out with us here today. It's really, really awesome to have you here with us here in the conversation. Again, talking about seeing some really cool names and folks, that are starting to see more regularly within the conversation. I love seeing, again, I love seeing that. Thanks for being here. So really awesome to have you here too. Let's see. I got a thumbs up here from, what is this? Be the Arrow. Awesome. Awesome. Love the thumbs up even too. Just again, if you're here, drop into the chat and, let us know you're here. And and what you got growing on, all that sort of stuff. We're just kind of hanging out, just kind of getting a chance to kind of go through and chill with all of you guys today, as we don't really got much going on in the calendar. I was kind of touching on a little bit there just a little bit ago, is that it takes a lot of work and a lot of emailing back and forth. It's to get people booked. There's a lot of there's just a lot of communication that goes on in the background, a lot of communication that's required to be able to have such variety and to be able to do the level of guest conversations and things that we're able to do here on a 3-day weekend this year, especially too. So there's a lot of that sort of stuff that goes on in the background and everything that I've had less and less time for over the last couple of months. And because of that, there's this open part of the schedule that I knew was coming up on me pretty fast, and I was trying the best I could. And I'm not saying that. I mean, there's still a ton of communication that's still going on in the background right now, still trying to get people booked and for future episodes and all sorts of stuff that's going on. It's just I got to kind of get through the next couple of weeks here and figure out what to do, basically. And it's kind of the idea. Right now we normally probably take a chance to hang out with Jay or so, but she's a little under the weather at the moment, still facilitating for us, as you could tell, and hanging out and everything. But I just thought, let's go old school. Let's just do some chats. Let's just get into the conversation, do some chats. Maybe next week we'll kind of do a somewhat community show type thing. Maybe I'll throw out the link or something like that. Maybe I do kind of, I'm still not sure. And I haven't really made anything official yet as far as what I'm going to do for tomorrow's show yet. So we'll see about that as well too. As we got a Monday show that, in fact, I'm getting information on here shortly, I believe. Okay. Yeah. So we do got a Monday show set up for Monday and everything as well too. So we're all go as far as green room shows are concerned. Next Saturday, maybe something, like I said, maybe next Saturday we'll do something that's kind of community show, like maybe we'll, that sort of thing. And then next Sunday, we'll have our good friend David Bowtie, on with us to join with us from the Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company's spring fair that they have over there. So he'll be doing some live streaming from the spring fair at the Baker Creek in Mansfield, Missouri. So he's driving out to Mansfield, Missouri. He's going to go set up this just really cool tent and everything, and all this really cool camera equipment and everything. He's going to do some real cool on location live streaming from the Baker Creek Spring Fair, and he's awesome enough to be able to come spend some time with us and bring us a bit of what's going on over at the Spring Garden Fair over there at the Baker Creek farm. So hopefully we'll have some really cool stuff. He's doing some real hard work, setting up all sorts of stuff. I hope he doesn't wear himself out with all he's got to do to get it done and everything. But it's going to be awesome to see what's going on. But he'll be doing a whole bunch of live streaming too. So again, as we were mentioning earlier, you want to get down below if you haven't been over to Bowtie. I'm sure Jay get some links in there as well too, if we haven't already. But to Bowtie's channel and all of that as well, because he'll be doing live streaming before our show time next Sunday and afterwards as well too. So it's a Bowtie day on Sunday next week, not tomorrow, but next week, and all live from Mansfield, Missouri at the Baker Creek Festival. It's gonna be great, sort of like what we did with our friend Mark, NBC, joining us from the Seattle Flower and Garden Show, a little while back ago in February. We'll have our good friend David doing similar type of thing for us over in Baker Creek. So this is going to be just really awesome. Can't wait to hang out. Can't wait to see what they got growing on for all of that. And then again, we should be back again to next Monday as well for some green room stuff, and then we'll see what we goes on with the calendar from there. Nothing for certain yet. Nothing I can tease ahead for anybody or anything, but we should hopefully get things back together hopefully real soon here and get the regular Let's Get Growing show that everybody's come to love and expect every weekend back back on track, if you will. Let's see here. Dusty says another storm brewing for Monday. Not like bizarre tornadoes like last week. Oh my. Oh. I did, and again too, I feel for people who live in these zones and have to live with the danger of certain things and all that sort of stuff. But I have such a fascination factor with tornadoes. I've never got to see one real life, but I would love to. And I'm not talking about just like a regular like category 1 or 2 or whatever. I want to see like this a big massive 5. I want to see what that looks like in real life, as scary as that would be. Hurricanes. I mean, I don't know if I really want to go through one though, too. I've seen some friends in Florida, and I'm sure Bowtie and other friends that we have in Florida have gone through some pretty wild ones and stuff. But it's just kind of, looking at Mother Nature doing things on such an extreme like that would be kind of crazy. So I have this kind of fascination with them for sure. But I definitely would not want to put myself in any sort of dangerous situations. I've never chase one down or do anything like that. So, but oh my gosh, let's see here. Yeah, so it had 13 tornadoes, F3 baseball hail for some, and June is our tornado season, which means it's early. You got plenty more to come still. I mean, wow. Yeah, I feel for you again too. I mean, you have to live with that sort of thing. So I'm sure that there ain't no fascination with them at all when you got to have them chasing down chasing you down basically. The way those things move too. Yikes for sure. Well, hopefully everything's good. Hopefully you got a good tornado storm cellar and all that sort of stuff too for you, them big ones. Yeah, Jay says you do not want. Yeah, I know. I don't want to live in one. That's for sure. I still have a fascination of wanting to see one though. Somehow, some way. I don't know. It's terrible, but it's true. Let's see. Sorry. Okay, let's see here. Right on, everybody. I don't know. Looks like we're getting down through the conversation. Definitely jump in here when I see if anybody's got any questions or anything like that you might have. Let's see here. Outlier Garden says coastal LA trying to grow these Zola. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that Azola for the first time. Anyone here have any experience with it? Well, obviously, I don't. I can't pronounce it. But Zoya maybe or something. I'm not sure, but I don't. I hope somebody does for sure. Lots of cool stuff that you can grow down there in the Los Angeles area. We got the Hippie Chick Homestead here with us today. It says beautiful weather here in Northwest Oregon today, hitting 70 degrees. So putting some more seedlings out up in the Northwest. Right on, right on. I'm down in the Southwest here. Pretty decent. I haven't been really outside today, so I'm not sure. I just kind of got out and started doing some other things that I've got going on here indoors, and then started getting ready for the show. Let's see here. Let's see here, John. Says never been in the chat. Usually miss it, but starting watching more. Came here after seeing Texas Garden Party peeps. Yeah, yeah. Those are love hanging out with Destin and Phil and Dez and all of them over at the garden party. And love having them on the show here with us as well too. Great that you come and check out our show as well. I love what they do over there. Again, they do a very similar thing where they're bringing you a cool panel conversation with an awesome guest each week. And they get some great guests too. Guests, in fact, the cool thing about them too, and I think is cool about watching both of our different shows is they'll get guests that we don't get here on our show too. So you definitely can hear different voices and different folks and people over there as well in the conversation, but they get really great guests too. So great that you came over here to come hang out with us as well too. Farmer Marshall joining with us. He's in the chat. Farmer Marshall, always great to see you here in the chat. We've had Farmer Marshall on the show before on our Are You Following Me? I have to get Farmer Marshall back on the show again real soon for a Monday evening show. Yeah, great to see you back here with us as well too. Says, I'm hoping next year to have fresh bananas on my plants, and every banana gets 10 to 13 feet tall. So my other banana I got left is 8 feet. I know, that would be awesome. Cruising through the conversation today. Again, just kind of hanging out with everybody here. Just a little bit longer during our normal show time, just as kind of a little chill, little one-on-one casual hangout with all of our friends here in the conversation with us today. A little opportunity just to kind of chat with each other here. Puddles from the secret raw, so I don't want to miss it. I'm sure you'll be back in the rain soon. Asking if when they're coming over to visit Joe. Yeah, okay. Our snowpack is so low. Going to be an ugly wildfire season here in our neck of the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not good, when it comes down to it. Even down here in the Southwest, again, getting more south, it gets even worse. So we've been kind of a little rainy lately, and so we just kind of get hopeful at this point in time. Like, come on, bring as much as you can, bring as much as you can. Hopefully, they're getting snow up in the higher elevations, and just hoping for as much as we can get here before basically. Like I always say, it's like a little switch, and it just, it stops raining, and we don't see it for months, all through the summer season. So always kind of worried about each year for the last, it's going on almost a decade now, almost 10 years now, pretty much 10 years now, really. If I really think about it, 2016, 2017 were probably some of the first years we were starting to get that I can remember, in the years I lived here, even prior leading up, and the folks that I knew lived here even before that never could remember where we would have these just weeks of just the valley filled with smoke like we had. And now that's about 10 years ago that started really happening here, where we would get that to happen. And then it really culminated in 2020, but there were other lead up big fires. The Paradise Fire went in 2019, 2018, I think was Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa had part of the whole city there in Northern California had a big one. So yeah, it's been like the last 10 years of just worrying and wondering every single year whether or not we've got enough snowpack, enough rain, to make sure that we can get through the summertime all right without having such devastating wildfires, causing such, whether they're causing real problems with the fires bearing down on us in our areas or not, or we've got to deal with the smoke that fills up all of the skies around us. So, yeah. Let's see here. Farmer Marshall says, we've been dry in Georgia for almost 3 weeks. Funny how it started to drizzle just as I was about to film a garden tour. I was committed, so I grabbed my umbrella. Just when you want to do so, that's all you got to do is just film something. Film something. The weather will change. Try to film something, and the airplanes will start flying over. The dogs will start barking. It doesn't matter. You just start filming. Go out on location out in public and go to a nice little quiet place spot to film a little thing or whatever. And then all of a sudden there's like 30 people around you as soon as you start filming. Getting it. It seems like when you're filming, everything that can go wrong will go wrong for sure. Murphy's Law definitely applies to trying to film videos. All right. Somebody say hi, Eddie. It's great to have you here with us. Great to see you in the chat here. Right on, right on. Let me see. Michael says, I'm your neighbor in North Alabama. That's right. You meet your neighbors right here on the Let's Get Growing show. Muddy Puddles for the night, John Boy, as we're talking about. Right on. The Waltons, yeah. Let's see here. Farmer says, last year I only watered with rainwater I saved in my IBC totes. Really? That's great. Again, too, water catchment systems are awesome. If you can have enough storage capacity, right? Similar like having like solar or other sorts of means of gathering electricity and things. I mean, it's really awesome to do if you got the capacity to hold on to it as well. But yeah, especially with the rainwater. I got a couple of rain barrels out there I was mentioning a couple shows ago. But again, only so much storage capacity that I'll go through most of that just within weeks after it stops raining. Let's see here. We got Kelpie Capers Farm. How you doing, Lori? Great to have you here. Thanks for joining in. She asks, has anyone heard of African sugar beans? I just ordered some. African sugar beans. I haven't, there's so many cool varieties of things that I always hear from people that I've never got to try. African sugar beans. Ariel says, I think you should have Russell. Is it Cow or you say not the actor? So you saying Crow or is it Cow? But not the actor or the tomato breeder, but the bean guy on. He has one of the largest collection of heirloom beans on the planet. Really? No, that sounds really interesting. That's a great. See, these are the type of suggestions I love to hear from folks for sure. I don't know. I have to make a note. I'm sure we can make a note of that here. Maybe even find out what channel or sort of thing they have. Yeah, yeah. Oh, look at that's right there. I'm sorry. I should have looked at the next one before I was reading that though too. But yeah, Russell Crowe. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely have to look into that for sure. I just people who have projects and things and do that sort of stuff is just really amazing. I love that stuff. Luke to Nature says, "Sorry guys, sorry for the tardiness. Visiting Mama and Papa Nature. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Out there doing what you got to do outside, doing all that sort of stuff. Always great to catch you whenever we can. And for today, we're just kind of hanging out, anyways. So no big deal today. No real big guests. Not missing out on anything that you really got to go back and rewind on or anything. Let's see here. Let's see. Money Paul's asking, mentioning about the peace lilies. I usually move them out of direct sunshine for a couple of days and don't allow them to overheat. So coolish spot in the pantry. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah. Just kind of give it a chance to ease into its new environment before you really give it that direct sunlight and all the other. Let's see here. Outlier Gardner says, I wouldn't object to Russell Crowe, the actor. Yeah, no doubt, huh? That'd be great to who I'd really actually like to get right now. I don't know if you've all seen this. In fact, Netflix has this show now with actor Zach Galifianakis doing kind of a documentary thing on gardening, and I can't remember what it's called exactly. But wouldn't it be cool to have like Zach Galifianakis on or something and talk about that show or something? That would just be really cool. Yeah. There's some real cool actors who are, in the growing space, in the growing community, who do some really cool stuff. Some big actors as well too. So I have to just kind of maybe expand my horizons when I'm thinking about who we're trying to invite. But when you think about like actors like Russell Crowe and this sort of thing too, there's this another layer that you kind of don't find with some folks you can find who are even, big time channels, if you will, here in the gardening space. There's, actors and folks who like in movies have like agents and different people, they have this other layer of people you got to get through to get them on and stuff too. So they do present that little extra layer of challenge, but it would be kind of fun to do something like that, wouldn't it? And then says, you think you need to do a bean show? Do a bean show. Yeah, no, I'm going to really look into that. Russell Crowe, the bean guy. I'm going to look into that. And who knows? We'll see what he thinks about it. That's another thing, though, too, is that there's folks out there, too, who are just not also into just doing live streaming, who have some big channels and stuff, too, that, so it's kind of hard. I'm trying to convince some folks like, hey, it's still really fun, but there's some folks every now and then. But we'll see what Russell Crowe thinks. See, Adam was saying, read an article yesterday saying this winter is tied with 1896 being the second warmest winter in Oregon on record. Yeah, it was really, really warm for sure. He says, find guest that has great ideas of quick meals for us busy gardeners. Yeah, we should probably think about doing maybe another kind of like food centered gardening book for our book club or something, and maybe get another chef or something on. That would be really great. Yeah. 6 hearts on 6 acres would be a great guest idea too. See? Yep. See, there's some great ideas, everyone. Joe says, I love my house plants all winter. Then the garden calls and all bets are off. Excellent, excellent. Michael in the conversation saying getting bees and hummers and butterflies. Oh yeah, yeah. It says he meant bees. Yep, I got you. Love it. Love seeing the pollinators flying around. Yep, yep. That's when you know things are going good. Weather's really right. You see all the pollinators just out doing all their work they got to do and just cruising around like crazy. Hmm. Trying to meet their quotas, if you will, right? Got to get things done, but I just love seeing them flying around. Let's see here. Dusty says the thing with short season gardeners, it's an all on run. Certain things have to get done on time, then we don't have time to eat or enjoy much. You always got to find a way, though. You got to find a way. That's why I make sure, like around my different garden spaces, I always have like little benches, these little things I make, like little um, just little kind of sitting spots, and I've got several of them around in the different locations. So no matter where or what area or space I'm working in, I've got a little spot where I can kind of just stop for a minute, just kind of relax and chill, and kind of just take a moment to kind of enjoy the space just a little bit. But the mind keeps still going even when you're trying to sit and chill, and you start seeing things, and you're like, okay, I need to pay attention to this, or maybe I could put something this like this over there, and the gardener's mind will continue to wander. But we do got to try to enjoy our space as much as we can, though. I try to force myself if I can. Yeah, yeah. Oh, and Bowtie says the living room is back to the way it was when we woke up this morning. Phew. Yeah, if you don't know what he's talking about, go check out Bowtie's channel. He did a pop up live today where he was did a time lapse speed up of how he put together all of this tent and everything that he's going to do for the Baker Creek Heirloom Show. But he did it in his living room. He did it in his living room. Big old tent and everything built up right in the living room. I'm sure Mrs. Bowtie loved it. But like you said, he's got it back to normal. He worked hard, up and back down again. So living room back to normal. But no, great idea for what you're going to set up for Baker Creek, though. Really looking forward to that. Let's see here. Let's see. Dusty says, I'm cheering my cabbage on as I just seen a vid on sauerkraut. Tempted to go buy one just to make the sauerkraut, right? Just don't want to wait for your own cabbage. I just got to get on it. I got to make this stuff. Might just have to, right? Let's see. We are one big garden community from zone 3 to 11. I love all sorts of gardening. absolutely. All sorts of it. Even the gardening I can't do or don't do or anything like that. That's one of the things I love about doing a channel or a show like this is that, the gardening community is so vast and so it has so many is so plentiful with variety as our own garden spaces can be, that there's just all sorts of different, gardeners and uh, gardening methods that people use, different types of gardening spaces that people grow in, different, whether they grow food or cut flower gardeners or landscape gardeners or, just all sorts of folks. And then all those too, again, too, that again, talking about the bees and the pollinators and all of that too, is those folks in those spaces that are kind of a part of the growing community as well too, just I love gardening of all sorts, whether I'm capable of actually growing it or not. I love talking about it, learning about it, hearing other people's experience with those sort of things and everything. That's what makes doing this type of show so fun, is just to have those conversations with so many different people growing in so many different ways and so many different places, you know. Again, you just can't beat that type of conversation, you know what I mean, in this day and age, you know what I mean, with all of the everything that's available out there. There's a lot of noise, if you will, out there. And as gardeners, I know a lot of us, and I through conversation I have with a lot of folks and stuff too, is that, that's why we enjoy the gardening community and that sort of thing, is it kind of helps us kind of have a little space away from some of that noise, right? And that's why I like having this show and bringing the gardening community to all of you through our just really awesome guests that we get and these conversations and everything, is because, that just gives us this space, you know what I mean, away from that noise to enjoy the things that we love. And there's just so much variety in that. I hope that really comes out too in this show. I hope you guys really, you know, again too, that's what you're showing up for week after week. Again, not necessarily to be seeing me and hearing me yapping and chatting at you at all, but just to get to meet and be a part of this community and meet new people and hear about their garden stories and that sort of stuff. But just to be a part of this kind of, this different type of conversation going on out here, other than a lot of the other stuff, I mean, yeah. Let's see here. Rob says, I know it sounds crazy, but I loved it during lockdown. There's some of us, I consider myself a moderate introvert, but I'm also a moderate extrovert as well too. So I have tendencies to both. So I can totally get it, especially for those who are really lean introvert. Like lockdown had to have been just really perfect. But there were some, again, as we were kind of talking about too, there were some kind of positive things, if you will, if we could call them positive, with all the other really kind of crazy things that were going on that weren't, but there were some things that you kind of look like it was, people who, found the gardening community, was really awesome. See, we've got Val here with us. Great to see you. Awesome to have you here with us today. Just hanging out here a few more minutes as well, too. We got about 15 more minutes or so here left. I'm going to try to maybe get through this. I don't know how. I'm so far. I don't even know how far back behind in the conversation I am. Anyways, sorry, everybody. If I am very far behind or we don't catch up by the end of this discussion here. We got Janet McDonald in the conversation. Hello, gardeners from Central Texas, Zone 9A. Highs in the 80s. All right. Oh, yeah. If I'm seeing these comments right now, I must be pretty far behind. I apologize, everybody. Again, too, that's the thing about you guys in this chat around here, is that it's so many awesome folks just going. So to do this sort of thing, it's really kind of hard to keep up anymore. Oh, right here. Oh, wait. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Hanging out with you guys is important regardless of the topic or guest. A moment of zen with good people. Yes, I love it. See, that's what I'm talking about. Hmm. Oh, yeah. And Jay was mentioning about the garden. This is a gardening show. Yeah, that's what it's called. This is a gardening show on Netflix, docu-series from Zach Galifianakis, focusing on and encouraging organic farming, composting, and eating locally grown food. Premiered on Earth Day this last Wednesday, so it's available now on Netflix if you want to go and check it out. But yeah. Yeah, Zach's deadpan humor. So yeah, it ought to be interesting. I'm gonna have to spend some time and find some time to get that on and check it out or anything though too. But yeah, I love that again too that they do bigger projects like this. They can get a wider audience and more focus on these sort of things. It's just really awesome. Let's see here. Mighty Pearls Farm, Russell Crowe on the Urban Gardener channel. It would be like the Chelsea Flower Show when they interview the celebs that are there. It's about plants, but they try really hard. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That'd be like them promoting that show from Netflix and Zach being at like like the Baker Creek thing or something like that. You're just trying to pull him over. Come on, will you do something? You'd probably get so inundated from folks who want to try to get an interview from him. And let's see here. Teacher. Awesome. Becoming a farm girl is a gardener and also does quick meal prep and cost saving ideas. Becoming a farm girl. Awesome. I'm gonna have to look into this as well too. Yeah, again too, meal prep stuff. Be great to have a little more coverage of that stuff as well too. Especially as we get more further into the season, we're really starting to harvest and take things and getting some things out of our gardens. Yeah, it's good to get those chefs and those people who are really doing those things. I'm not a chef, so I don't touch on a lot of that stuff. So we can get some people on here though, where we can. Let's see here. I used to be a food blogger until I got sick. I have the recipes, but I can't stand long enough to make them any longer. Oh, that's unfortunate. I bet you got some good stuff too. All right, let's see here. Let's see, college show. Which date is the Baker Creek show? That will be the Sunday after tomorrow. So next Sunday, but on next weekend. Sunday of next weekend. The date. What is the date for that? Let's see if I can't find the actual date. Sunday of next weekend would be the 5th, right? I believe it's the 5th. May 5th. Uh-oh. What did I do? Okay. All right. Jen says, thanks for keeping me company on a Saturday afternoon. Absolutely. Thank you all for keeping me company too. I really, really appreciate it. Christopher Bransdahl, our good buddy, joining us from Norway, saying hola, hola to Christopher. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me here. Is it May 2nd? Wait, no, May 3rd. May 3rd. There we go. Okay. I was like looking, I must have been looking at April's or something. Anyways, but yes, okay, May 3rd. And I made it to the bottom. Excellent. Perfect. Right on. Excellent. Yeah. So next Sunday, May 3rd, we will have our Baker Creek show with our good buddy Bowtie David. Mrs. Bowtie joining there as well too. Bunch of other folks that he's got all set up for guests and all of that on his own live streams. So do be sure to go and make sure you check out his page and channel to follow the live streams beforehand. Come jump over here, hang out with David and us over here on the Sunday edition of the Let's Get Growing show next Sunday, May 3rd. And then afterwards, go and hang out with David as he has some more fun, more discussions and conversation from Mansfield, Missouri, the Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company's farm, their spring festival. So that's going to be really fun. Really excited for that. But as far as all of us go here on the Let's Get Growing show, again, not too sure what I think tomorrow might just be either something very similar. I might just come hang out with you guys and just do this very same thing tomorrow. I'm not sure. I'm going to find out a little bit of what I'll do then. If not, I do apologize if we do end up doing a chat only show. We're just at a point in time where, again, there's some things going on and I might take the opportunity to go do some things. I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of still building that plan, but one way or another, we'll have either the chat open or I'll be here to hang out and chat with you or something like that when it comes to tomorrow's show. And then Monday evening, we're back at it with our Green Room show. Natalie and I will be hanging out and talking with our good friend Charles Malky, our sponsor at Ivy Organics. He's going to join with us along with Tom Spellman. And we're going to be talking all about growing fruit trees in your backyards and, in growing spaces, containers, all sorts of stuff around fruit trees. Talk a bit about what Charles has got growing on, what Tom's got growing on as far as other gardening and all that sort of stuff. We'll get into all sorts of different things when it comes to the green room conversation, but that's what we'll be doing come Monday night. We'll be hanging out with our good friend Charles Malky from Ivy Organics and Tom Spellman as well too, talking about fruit trees and all that sort of fun stuff that we do there as well. So really looking forward to that coming up. And then, as I was saying, next Saturday for the show, again, will probably be something very similar. Or what I might do is kind of a community show type situation where we'll just share out the link and just hang out with you guys and do some of that sort of stuff as well too. And just kind of have fun with it too. So, it's just kind of fun to kind of do this again, as I was mentioning earlier at the beginning, that's kind of how all of live streaming started for me. It was just kind of sitting back here. In fact, it was just kind of a little bit further back. I would sit, at a little stool I would sit on and set up the little laptop and do everything in the little corner in the back here and just kind of sit and hang out with everybody for, a couple hours. We used to do them on Wednesday evenings. It was a Wednesday evening show. We used to call Wednesdays Live here on the Urban Gardener channel. And I did that for a couple of years, just hanging out with everybody, doing that sort of thing, just like this. So kind of like bringing me back to old school live streaming when it comes down to it. But again, we'll get back to doing some regular Let's Get Growing shows and all of that. Before we know it, we'll have some really fantastic gardening guests with some really amazing gardening conversation for all of you folks out there too. Again, I know you all look forward to those type of shows. That's what we're really, what we build ourselves around is, doing that sort of thing as far as the gardening community is concerned. Having these just really just fun, interesting, hopefully educational at times, conversations around our gardening spaces and gardening places that we all have throughout the gardening community, and awesome to get to talk to some really awesome, amazing gardening communicators out there too that we're all following out there, and some of those big channels and folks who are just willing to give us their time and hang out with us on the weekends here and everything, and then being able to promote smaller channels and to promote the whole gardening community as a whole, is just in some ways when I look at it, kind of finishing up what I was saying earlier in the show is just kind of to me in some way is a mission accomplished. When I go through and look at the conversation that everybody's having with each other, as far as all of you who come and hang out with us, the audience members and everything too, is just wonderful and fantastic. That to get to see all of you, here chatting with each other, making that conversation so awesome as we're having the other conversation with our fantastic guests that we get each week and everything too. Is just, I think, when we look at it a whole and I look back at all of the couple of hundred shows we've done and everything, just really, really massive accomplishment that we've done here. So, I really like to see us take it to a whole nother level as we keep moving forward and growing forward here in 26 and beyond as well too. So let's definitely, take the time that if you can too, as well, to go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe and bell notification if you haven't already. I'm sure all of you have though. But the big thing that I'm talking about here is sharing with all of your friends and people out there and helping get the word out week to week about the Let's Get Growing show to help us build the audience and everything that we really believe this show really is. There's so many folks out there that, will hopefully can catch word about and hear from and hear about this show and come and join with us and help us grow this community out here as well too. So again, it's just really amazing to have you all here. I did want to also mention too as well, again, as we're finishing up, about donations and everything too, just quickly kind of mention this. Here's we do really appreciate donations. We are just a small private show, put together, just by myself and few contributors and folks who help us by donating their time and doing some things to help us bring and put this show together. But, there's some costs, StreamYard and all these other things that go along with it too. So we do have to have some sort of budget in order to put together a show like this, or even do some of the other things that we'd like to do down the road as some future projects and ideas and things. So, we do really appreciate anything you as the audience can help contribute to what we get here on our show budget. We don't make very much from YouTube ad revenue and all of that other stuff. And I'm not good with all the other business streams of stuff that I'm learning about and working on, and we're trying to figure out and do all that sort of stuff. But we do appreciate any donations we can from all of you. And I might be trying to work on maybe some sort of kind of like maybe something that we could do once a year or something like that, some kind of like maybe hangout weekend like this or something like that, where we're kind of doing some sort of fundraiser type of thing and kind of working on ideas of what we could do around that sort of thing. But I really do appreciate you guys and anybody who can contribute if you can, and really only if you can too though. But thank you so much everybody for all of that and hanging out with us. Keep an eye out in this space. Come check with us and see what we got growing on for tomorrow. Like I said, nothing's guaranteed, but we could we'll at least have the chat open for everybody if you want to come hang out with each other and say hi and all that sort of stuff. But really appreciate you all being here with us today and hanging out again. I was worried whether or not I was going to fill the whole time out when it comes to it, but everything seemed to go really well. Seemed to do really fine. You guys all showed up and it was really awesome. It's always awesome hanging out with you guys. So I'll see all of you on our very next show I'll see all of you then.
This is the ugliest plant in the world, but I love it.